and good morning. So, yes, today we have the presentation, the technical week presentation about Terraform introduction from Ponlork. So let's enjoy. Yes.
Okay. So hello everyone. So today is my presentation about Terraform. So let me share my screen. Okay. Hello everyone. Everyone hear me, right?
Oh yes.
Okay. So today is my presentation about Terraform, and actually the Terraform topic our team member also already introduced. Today I introduce about small thing of Terraform, focus on Docker. So for those in infra team, so everyone know about Terraform, and for everyone don't know about Terraform, so maybe have, and everyone know about Terraform, so prepare the question and give me the question. So Terraform is a tool, is infrastructure code tool that don't need the interface. It have it just code to manage infrastructure, multi-platform. So Terraform can manage multi-platform. So like AWS, GCP, Azure, Docker can manage by Terraform. So it's like that. So this is the technology that Terraform can apply, because Terraform have a provider that can manage infrastructure in this technology. So Terraform to deploy infrastructure with Terraform. So first thing you have to think about your infrastructure. It means that how big of infrastructure you need, and write configuration in the paper, or it means that you think, after that you write it, after that you need what everything else you need to install, to configure the infrastructure. Like example, if you need AWS or GCP, or what the provider you need, what the plugin you need. So after that you review plan, similar to review your configuration. It's correct much to your need, and after that apply configuration. So my presentation is short, and everyone can question to me. So I have one more about Docker. So this is Terraform. So first thing to use Terraform, so you need to install Terraform, and Terraform provider. Why Terraform can manage the infrastructure? Because it provider. So like here is Docker. So if you use GCP, so it may choose Google or AWS, it provider. So in the provider, it have a module that can manage everything in that provider. Like AWS, it have provide, here is AWS. If AWS here. So in provider AWS, that it have two module that you can configure the infrastructure like set IP address, like something else in the infrastructure. So in here, I install Docker Nginx, a web server to run Docker container. So in my local, there are no container running right now. So in here, I want to run Docker container that run Nginx and access from my local from port 8080 and access to in Docker in port 80. And I have two replica that access from my local 8081 and allow in Docker 80 port 80. So at first, Terraform need to init Terraform. So it will init the Terraform. After that, if you want to see the configuration, so this is configuration. We will apply. So 8080 something. So yes. Okay. Apply, complete resource one, add, throw change, throw destroy. So right now I can access from my local import. So 8080. It will access to Docker container, and Docker container is running right now. So I have two replica and Docker container from port 80 to 8080 to 80. So for me, Terraform is useful. Is easy because Terraform is a code use a Python format. It's Python format, and it can manage by version control. So if your team communicate, discuss with each other what the infrastructure you scale, so you can discuss and make repository controlled by control version. And it provide provider. So it means that in the provider we can set IP address, we can create instance, can what's something else in the provider. So I think that's all. So so give me the question. So question answer. Okay, that's all. So hello everyone. Hello.
Oh, yes, hello.
Hello.
For Terraform, it's not something like that. It's more than something like that. We can manage application by multi-provider. Like provider here, we can use AWS or GCP, and we can split the application in it means that we can create multi-application in our project. Like in here, I have actually I have one application that enable Google Actual API, and we don't need to configure only in the main. Like here, I configure in main that I have one application in here, but we can use module to run application. Like here, I use module application. So application source from service application. So here, the application, and I need a variable from the variable here. Here, so module applications simplification. So in here, run from here. It means that my module is application. Sometimes imagine that here I use GCP for enable actual API. So if I want to create a bucket in GCP, so I have to create one module, another module. If I want to create a data store in GCP, so I create another module, and I can set the variable in the main here. So variable here we can set name like it, like this. Okay, like this. Like I can use like I think everyone don't understand, but we can. The main thing is that we can split. We can create multi-application in our project. Like this. So we can set name default actual component with something else. Okay.
Yes, then can I ask you a question?
Yes.
First, yes, thank you so much. It's a really interesting topic. And this time you deploy Docker by Terraform. And as we know, one more way, there is one more way to run container, Docker container. It's Docker Compose. So my question is when we should use Terraform to deploy Docker container and when we should use Docker Compose. So do you have any idea of when? Oh yeah.
Yes, you ask first.
Yeah. If you have any idea when we should use Terraform instead of Docker Compose, I want to know the situation when we should use it.
Actually, for my idea, it depends on the requirement, but my idea Terraform, we can scale the infrastructure first. It means that we can extend the infrastructure and design it what need, and we apply it. And actually Docker Compose also can do like this, but Docker Compose, I think in the cloud something, in AWS something cannot run Docker Compose. In Terraform it provider, so it can manage in cloud. Example like Cloud Run, so we can use Terraform to deploy something to Cloud Run.
Okay, then it may mean we can run Docker Compose on server, but if we want to apply something in the cloud service, we should use Terraform.
Yes, sir,
So
right.
is it like okay? Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you. So question, please. Nasir, do you have a question?
No question.
And Sky, do you have a question?
Yes, I'm thinking about the question right now. So
I have a question about this example. Do you apply on Cloud Run, right? Or on
In
GCP platform, right? This example.
Oh, ask again.
By your example, I see the Terraform code here using a Docker. This is used in a Google platform, GCP.
No, it's a Docker provider. So it use only Docker. And if we use yes, ask question.
I mean, where you apply all these container in GCP or in
The container is in my local.
it is deployed to your local machine, right?
Yes, local machine. Actually, this store in my local machine, and if I need some more Docker container, so I can create a new resource, something like I want to create Python with database actual and PHP admin, so I can create resource like this, or I can create it like a split it as application, like I use module and run it. For GCP, it have its provider, like I show you here. Google provider, the Terraform require provider Google, so provider. And to access to GCP, it needs the service account. Like we access to AWS, we need the code. I didn't remember, but the AWS maybe call it service account too.
Yes. And one more, have you ever fly Terraform on a virtual machine?
Pardon again.
Have you ever applied Terraform code on a virtual machine, VM?
I never apply, but I see Docker Terraform architecture don't have virtual machine. Actually, it depends on provider. If the provider provide that we can apply to VM, so we can apply to VM, because provider like programming we call IPAC. So why Terraform is a code? Because Terraform can use provider, and provider have variable that we can set data type and apply to the module. So that's why I think they call this code infrastructure as code. So for VM, if HashiCorp the provider that support to apply to VM, so you can use.
Yes, okay, thank you.
And yeah, as I see, Terraform support the VMware provider. So yeah, I think we can use it on, and we can use it for deploying a virtual machine on VMware. But I never tried it.
Here, VMware.
Yeah, I hope someday Hasegawa-san can introduce something about it.
Yeah. So can VMware here. So it can apply to VM. So the advantage of Terraform, because I think because it can scale your infrastructure first before you create. You think first, discuss first, and after that you design your whole infrastructure, what the need, what something else need, and we apply. So I think this is advantage of Terraform.
Can I ask one thing a bit?
Yeah.
Like, how do you get the provider's information from the website or something like? You got in the providers, you're gonna just say like version information, the source informations. I could see the providers information. Where the providers comes from actually.
Actually, it comes from HashiCorp.
HashiCorp. Okay.
Yes, HashiCorp.
Oh.
HashiCorp provider, and
Okay.
they have guidelines to use a provider.
Oh, alrighty.
Yeah.
So do you have any special website saying that what the provider's information actually is listing or something?
Actually, Terraform is the product of HashiCorp, so the best website is HashiCorp.
Okay.
And actually, sometimes we need research like something like this,
Okay.
like this service. So we need to research. Sometimes we
okay.
In HashiCorp it's old version, so we update new version. We have to research. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yes. Sir. Hello.
I think Samnang have a question. Oh yeah, maybe your mic is not working.
Hear me, right?
Yes, hear you.
It's okay. Hear me?
Yes, hear you. Hello, Samnang, do you have a question?
Hello.
Yes, here.
Okay. Yes. Maybe my mind is not working. Yes. I just had one question. Yes, about the Terraform. Yes. If I have the plan like I want to set up the server as in Terra. Yes, I want to set up the web server. The one is the AWS, and the another one is the GCP, something like that. I mean, they are the different data centers. So if I want to set up the internet configuration for the web servers, so the Terraform, yes, it can do like this or not. I mean, we make the Terraform configuration in the, and we run it the one time. Yes, the internet configuration can be deployed to the each data center. I mean, one is the GCP and another one is AWS, for example, like this. So it is possible to do like that. Yes, to define the multiple cloud provider in the same time.
Yes, Terraform can deploy multi-provider at one time, at the same time. We can use the multi-provider here, and we can use resource type something, and we deploy. But one more thing to remember, that if you use a cloud, so you need the service account for GCP and AWS. You need the install AWS, and it's the service account of AWS to access to. Actually, as I listen to you, you want to set up Nginx in Docker, and you deploy it to the cloud, right? Is that right?
I mean, if we have the server on each data center, I mean, and we want to set up a web server on each data center, our server in each data center, and the both server and in pair, it can be the cluster. Yes, one in the AWS and another one in the GCP or something like that. And we need to set the we have to pre-configure for the Nginx configuration on the Terraform, and we want to apply those Nginx configuration to our server on the each data center. Yes, yeah. Actually, we need to access for the credential from the each data center. Yes, it is correct. Yes, but I just ask we can do like this or not, where if we want to deploy the multiple provider in the same time. Yes, something like when we set up the cluster server like that. Yes.
I never try to actually. I never try to deploy a multi cloud. So, but I think Terraform provider. So we can deploy multi cloud at the same time. Depend on our configuration, and if Terraform provider, so we can choose that provider. I want to enable cloud API in GCP, and at the same time I want to create one instance in AWS, so I can.
Maybe I got the sum. Yes, I see. And thank you, yes, for your answer. Yes, I'm sorry, but maybe my input, yes, from my is not working. Yeah. So. Anyway, thank you so much.
Yes. Actually, it depends on your project too. For me, it can, but to scale network, to scale infrastructure, it have different project. So like you work on AWS or AWS, you work on GCP. But if your requirement is that you want something, you want to store something in AWS and run instance in GCP, yes, can, because I see HashiCorp provider, so it can.
Yeah, it is not the question, just the comments. Yes, like the provider is inside Terraform registry, and we can check in there, and there are many provider in Terraform.
Yes, right. So any question, please? I think Terraform advantage, the advantage of Terraform is that we scale infrastructure. We can scale infrastructure before we apply. If we don't scale, so we apply and we delete. Like create instance in AWS, it charge. So if you create no plan, so it charge a lot.
So what you said, so Terraform Terraform is like the solution to prevent overcharging inside the cloud. Yes.
It's not like that, but to create infrastructure, you have to scale. You have to think first. What do you need? How many PC? How many IP address you need? Yeah. Sometimes in your environment you need only 2 IP address something. So what do you need something else?
Okay, everyone. So do we have any more questions? Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. So by the way, regarding to the slide, do you have the URL, right? The link that we can access the slide later?
Yes, I have.
Okay, great. Okay, so we don't have any more questions. So yes, so we can close it. So have a nice weekend, everyone.
Yes, have a nice weekend. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Nice
Bye.
day.